I think one of the things that I love about my job is that from a day-to-day basis, I am never doing the same thing. I love the fact that I get to shift gears, so I don't have an opportunity to get bored with what I'm doing.
It depends on the day. Some days I'm in the lab, we're looking at mouse models, trying to understand how kidney development affects kidney disease. And then there's other days when I'm covering the hospital and I'm seeing patients and their families, either in the hospital or also in the clinic. And that's one of the joys for me, is actually that mix of being able to do a little bit of both.
I love the variety. I am a person that I hate to be bored, and I love moving from one thing to another. And so every day for me is different.
There's always something new to learn. There is always, another opportunity to become involved with. There are always going to be new personalities that you interact with. And so for somebody like me that needs constant stimulation and constant change, this is the career.
There's very few subspecialties, if any, that have the mix of different experiences that you can have in pediatric nephrology, from a great outpatient practice to outpatient and inpatient experience with a lot of critical care, if you're like that, and also management of long-term conditions like nephrotic syndrome and glomerulonephritis, ability to work with our fantastic colleagues in the pediatric surgical, urological, general pediatrics, transplant surgery, colleagues, as well as rheumatology, pulmonology, and all the other subspecialists. And also, a lot of pediatric nephrologists are active in medical education and leadership within departments and research, and there's also a good amount of procedural experience too. So a lot of folks in medical school and residency are looking for all of those things, and nephrology really gives you a chance where you can practice all of those.
So I just get to think and use my brain in different ways every day, and move from one thing to another. There's teaching, there's advocacy. I didn't even realize before I started this job that I would get to go to meetings at the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. I have served on UNOS committees, and I've gotten to sit at the table with really leaders in our community and our country to tell people why it's so important to provide research funding for children with kidney disease, to provide priority allocation for transplant for children, and all this stuff is just, it's really exciting and really cool.
For me, it's being able to combine taking care of a patient with teaching other pediatricians about how to take care of this patient, and that's a lot of fun.
I love to walk into a room, whether inpatient or outpatient, and know the exact pieces of information that I need to gather to put together a story, and to rule out the things I need to rule out, and to rule in the things I need to rule in. And it doesn't always work out perfectly. You don't always come up with the answer, but many times you can get pretty close, or you can really nail the answer. And as long as you have the right questions in your mind, which is, I think, the point of fellowship, is figuring out how to ask the right questions, then you can oftentimes bring an answer to a situation that is frustrating and confusing to providers and patients alike, and their families.
It's not just dialysis. I mean, there's transplant and all of the complications with the immune system that go along with that. In hypertension, we can delve into all these cardiovascular issues, which has a lot of overlap with adult medicine. I mean, there's a really wide range, and I think that if people had the opportunity to see the breadth of what we do, then maybe there'd be more there that would interest them.
The view you get from medical school and from residency is really a very small window into the peds nephrologist world, if you will.
The opportunities to have really interesting disease and really interesting phenotypes, and be able to kind of design what your workday would look like, is a very positive thing with us. And I don't think that there's many other subspecialties that give you that chance.